Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. It's Pendulum Friday. You guys are amazing and really good questions. Joyce did another amazing job getting them all sorted out for me. But there are a couple of questions I think that actually just came in really recently. I'm recording this obviously on Thursday, kind of late afternoon. I'm going to do those and then I'm going to go to, where she lists the questions for me. Before I forget, because I am a wee bit of a scatterbrain, for my Canadian subscribers and viewers, I wish you a happy Thanksgiving. That is this Monday here in Canada. So have a good, safe celebration for everyone. Let's get on with it, shall we? And once again, just for anybody who might be new, when the pendulum goes side to side like that, it means that it is ready to talk. I am protected and it is ready. Show me yes. You'll see it goes back and forth. Show me no. And it goes round and round. And you're going to notice some movement in the hand. That's because the force of the pendulum and the energy moving through it is a lot. It's just as simple as that. Here we go. Question 1. How long will we have to deal with Trump's hateful rallies? Till next November. That's actually kind of a tricky question. So I'm just going to fiddle around with the phrasing a little bit. Is Trump going to be on the campaign trail from now all the way through November of 2024? Is he going to be on the campaign trail? No. And that's why I said it was a bit of a tricky question. It's a pretty enthusiastic note, too, I must say. I wish I could tell you what that meant exactly. Not sure, but I just have one of those feelings. Could it be Tom Cole from Oklahoma, House Representative for Speaker? Tom Cole. Is that possible? Looks like a no. Pendulum question. Fanny said, Fanny Willis, obviously, Fanny said she has received 150 threats over the last 2 months. She is concerned about her safety and the safety. Oh, and she has 2 minor children. Will they be okay? I don't think Georgia is going to do anything such as added protection. Okay, so let's ask the first part of that first. Are Fannie Willis and her children safe? Okay, yes. Is the protection she has around her sufficient at this time? Okay. Will the state of Georgia add any additional protection to her as needed? Cool. That's a yes. Just when we're on the topic of Georgia, there's a little bit of a treat coming up for you guys. One of my subscribers and viewers lives in Georgia, and he really has his sort of finger on the pulse of the inner politics and what's going on in Georgia. In some ways, Georgia is almost like a template for Republican states that are kind of done with the former guy. So he and I are going to be putting together a video. It'll probably come out the week of the 16th of October. So should kind of a week and a half from now. It's very unusual, as you all know, that I do that kind of a video. But he just has some really interesting information to pass along. And I think that because Georgia played such a pivotal role in the last election, I think we should sort of maybe give a listen to what he has to say. So that's coming up. Hi, Cyndy. Will Trump be the Speaker of the House. Is Trump going to end up being the Speaker of the House? No. Okay. Somebody wants to see the blue healer soon, my blue healer. I swear we are trying to put together a pet parade. I'm going to do what I can to get it out there as soon as I can. Okay. Now, I'm just going to scooch over to where the lovely Joyce sends me Pendulum Friday. Okay, here we go. Will there ever come a time when our elected officials take their oath on a copy of the Constitution rather than the Bible? I'm telling you, I think it's a great idea. Is that going to be something that comes into, I'm going to say fashion, not as opposed to mandated? Is that something that you're going to see more and more elected officials do? Take their oath of office on the Constitution? That looks like a yes. I can't tell you how fast or how soon or who, but there's hope. Will the House pass Ukrainian funding soon? So sad that it didn't make it into the continuing resolution. Well, nothing's going to happen in the next week or so because the House is off trying to lick their wounds and figure out how it all blew up for them. So is Ukraine going to continue to get funding from the U.S.? Yeah. Okay. Will Doug Ford, this is Ontario, will Doug Ford ever put his name forward to be elected mayor of the city of Toronto? And will it, okay, so will that happen within the next 5 years? No. Maybe he doesn't want to follow his brother's footsteps. I'm sorry, there's a really Ross Story reports that Cassidy Hutchinson's book details account of Mark Meadows giving the Crossfire Hurricane, Mueller Russian probe, binder with classified documents to far-right media personalities John Solomon and Molly Hemingway. Mark gave the binder to Secret Service agents to give to Molly and John. Secret Service then returned the documents in a Whole Foods bag to Cassidy, who dropped them off in White House counsel Cipollone's office. He was stunned. Well, yeah, I would guess. So the question is, will Mark Meadows and the Secret Service agent Molly and John be indicted and found guilty of mishandling classified documents? No. I'm going to say they're not going to serve jail time. Will Pat Cipollone testify against them? Okay, so this is a yes. So as of right now, the energy is such that there is so much going on legally that this, I think, is just one of those things where they're not going to pursue this right now, particularly because the documentation was returned to where it belonged and it never got into other people's hands. So I think that's kind of why that's kind of getting a funny answer. Question: will Newt Gingrich and members of the GOP are calling for Matt Gaetz to be expelled from Congress? Will Matt Gaetz be expelled from Congress? Ooh, that's a yes. And I have to tell you, I kind of wasn't expecting that. But right now it looks like a pretty strong yes. Will he be barred from running again and returning to Congress? Also a yes. Last week, the pendulum answered with a small yes if Trump will serve jail time in a modified setting. A few more questions to probe on that. All right. Will Trump serve jail time in a maximum security facility similar to mob bosses like John Gotti? No. Will Trump serve time in a medical facility? Kind of getting a yes on that. Will Trump serve his sentence under house arrest? Okay, and I'm getting a yes on that. So what I glean from that is it's going to be a mix of different things. I'm telling you, I got a bad feeling about his health. I just don't think he's as healthy as he thinks he is, or as he's attempting to present. And I mean physically healthy. We already know his mind's like mush. Has DJT, so Donald Trump, asked Jared Kushner for money to help him pay legal bills? No, probably because he knows Alanya would, or Ivanka would say no. Will Kimberly Gargoyle, that's cute, Don Jr. break their engagement as his financial future is likely tanking in the New York Trump Organization fraud case? Okay, so are Kimberly and Don Jr. likely to break up? Okay, that's a yes. Will the House of Representatives be able to pass the budget before November 17th to avoid a government shutdown? Okay, it's gone still. So, as you know, when it goes still, story, Atlas the Blue Healer was kind of working his way through some of my crystals. Thought they would be good to chew on. Okay. Okay, so it went still. So what that means is when it goes still like that, it means one of two things. Either the answer hasn't been determined, or in some cases, you'll get a no answer if you're just asking a question that you shouldn't be asking, or it's kind of none of your business. I can tell you the reason you got that still answer is because it hasn't been determined, because the house is in such an uproar. So I don't know. They've got, I think somebody said it was like 30 days or something of actual time that they're in session. I don't know, man. It's going to be a tricky one. I just want this horror show to be done. I know timing is really hard, but can we get some idea of whether this garbage bill will go on for many more years? Okay, so is this going to continue on 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now? No, it'll settle down. All right. Will Trump try to be speaker? No. I know they're floating a lot of that. There's a lot of chatter about it, but honestly, that feels more like throwing stuff against the wall to see what sticks. Does Trump know he's a puppet? Or, okay, so does Trump's narcissism prevent him from seeing that he is a puppet? Yeah, it does. Not a clue. Not a clue. Of course, because he's smarter than everybody else. And so therefore he couldn't be, manipulated or used. Will there be a volcanic eruption near Naples? I'm going to say within the next year. Okay, right now it's saying no. Let's keep our fingers crossed that's accurate. Okay, will Trump be the next Speaker of the House? We answered that, but I'll just get another answer. Will Trump be Speaker of the House? No. Will Jim Jordan be investigated for his past? No. Will Matt Gaetz be investigated for his past? That's a yes. Is Jim Jordan going to come under scrutiny with regards to the sexual abuse allegations from when he was coaching? And that's a yes. I don't know, make of that what you will. Will Canada recover completely from the weather that was a devastating disaster? Is Canada going to be able to recover completely? I think the word completely is the issue. Okay, so that's a no. Is Canada, particularly in the areas that have been hard hit by wind and rain and fire, is there going to be headway made? I think that's what I tried to say. In the next coming years, is there going to be positive movement forward? And that's a yes. I don't think that everything ever recovers completely. I just don't. Will more cult members turn away from Trump? Yes. Will eventually his sons turn their back on their father like Ivanka did? Looks like a yes. So maybe one or the other of them is thinking about it. Will Matt Gaetz be ousted or voted out of the House? Like that's a no. And didn't a previous question um have him leaving? Okay. Will the new premier of Manitoba be successful? The new premier of Manitoba is an Indigenous person to Canada. And so that's really exciting. Is he going to be successful? Yeah, he is. Will Liz Cheney return to an active role in politics again? Yes. And I again caution you to remember that just because she did what any normal person would do in terms of the January 6th committee, let's not fall into the trap of thinking that somehow she is supportive of Democrats and Democrat policies, because she is not. Lovely lady though she is a red Republican. So let's just keep that in mind. Is the No Labels group going to take enough voters from President Biden to put 45 back in office? No. Just while we're talking about that, is no lab is Joe Manchin, is he going to end up coming out as a nominee, I guess, as a candidate for the office of president under the No Labels flag in this upcoming election? No. Big no. Okay. Will Canada's extremism get out of control as the US has been? Is it going to get that out of control here in Canada? No. I think in part just because there's extremes. But I think by and large, Canadians are quite intolerant of those kinds of extremes. Will Jack Smith hand out indictments in October for those representatives and senators who participated in the January 6th coup attempt? So this is like perhaps the unindicted co-conspirators. Is he going to hand out indictments in October of 2023? It says yes. Will automakers be successful in being able to sell cars directly to consumers? Right now, it looks like a no. Certainly in the short term. So going ahead 2 or 3 years down the line, that may eventually transition to that. But dealerships and their service department, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, are a big cog in the wheel of the whole, vehicle industry. So a whistleblower at Deutsche Bank flagged payments being sent to Russia from Jared's real estate company in 2016. And she was fired after the company refused to send the info to the Treasury Department. Were the payments to Russia nefarious to help Trump or his family? Yeah, they were. Will Rep. George Santos be removed and or jailed this year? No, not this year. Will Matt Gaetz be removed from the House this year? And that's a yes. I'm not sure what the difference was between this question and the one I asked a couple minutes ago, but that's a pendulum for you. Sometimes when things are so in flux, it's really hard to just get a really accurate read. And, right now, the whole Matt Gaetz, Jim Jordan, House of Republicans, that whole situation is like a swirling mess. And I think it's just hard to get clarity on that right now. Do you see Trump fleeing at any point, like fleeing the U.S.? Okay, that's saying no. Will he succeed? So even if he tries, he won't succeed, and that's a no. I read Gates has been talking to Don Jr. about being a campaign manager if he runs for governor. That's scary. Will he consider him as lieutenant governor? No. And let's just ask this while we're at it. Will Don Jr. be Gates's campaign manager if Gates runs for governor? No. Okay. That is my questions. Also got some really good questions for Minnie, so I'm going to take a look at those. And that's what I know. Thank you for your amazing questions. Thank you for contributing so much energy to this channel. I'm so grateful. Have a really good weekend, whether you're Canadian or not. And remember to decompress, take some time for yourself, and make sure you do something nice for you and someone else. We'll see you next week. And don't forget, the Pick Your Crystal readings are out on Saturday morning. So if you're interested, take a look at those too. We'll see you next week. Take care. Be well. Bye bye.